I think what we're seeing right now in our society is partially the Gramsci theory of destroying these cultural institutions, not the governmental institutions necessarily, but the cultural institutions, in order to train a new generation of revolutionaries, people who would be more likely to rise up against the ruling class. But I think we are seeing a little bit of an evolution of Gramsci's theory, because I think that instead of just the destruction of each of these institutions, they have been compromised and harnessed into a circular firing squad. And what I mean by this is, if you look at education, for example, this is one of the 5 pillars. If you look at education, we can see for ourselves that it is simply objective truth that children are being taught gender identity. They are being taught in school, as young as kindergarten. They are being indoctrinated in this Marxist philosophy that in the underpinning of which embraces critical theory, right? That there is no right or wrong, that truth is just the victor in a narrative competition. Whoever wins the political narrative gets to claim that they are saying what's true here. But we can see for ourselves that children actually are being taught gender identity, which is a form of Marxist. There's an article that was published by Fox Baltimore that says state education framework outlines gender identity instruction for kindergartners. This is what it says. The Maryland State Department of Education is instructing kindergarten classrooms to teach about gender identity, and says that teachers in the state are not required to inform parents about their child's desire to change genders. Under the gender identity and expression subcategory of MSDE's health education framework, it states that pre-K students should learn to, quote, recognize and respect that people express themselves in many different ways, and understand, quote, that there are different types of families, i.e. single parent, same gender, intergenerational, blended, interracial, adoptive, foster, etc. By the time those students reach kindergarten, they're expected to recognize a range of ways people identify and express their gender according to the state's health curriculum framework. Instruction on this material expands as grade levels increase, and there is only an opt-out, not an opt-in option for such instruction starting in grade 4. It's unclear in the health curriculum framework whether the opt-out option is available for the parents of students below the 4th grade. So, as I said, you can look at these cultural institutions, these pillars of culture that Gramsci says, or that Gramsci identifies, and say, okay, Gramsci wants these destroyed. Or you can look at it through this new lens that I'm positing today, that they've been harnessed, they've been hijacked, compromised, and harnessed into this circular firing squad. That is what's happening today in education. Again, children are being taught, it's fact. Children are being taught this gender identity, which has roots in queer theory, which has its roots in Marxism. And when conservatives point this fact out and say, listen, you're grooming children for sexual abuse, because it is abuse to mutilate someone's sexuality, their body, their fertility. We're being told that we're not allowed. Don't say groomer, they tell us, these people who are 1 minute ago, they are for the so-called free speech of teachers to tell children in kindergarten anything they want about their sex lives. Well, it's not just conservatives, though, worried about grooming in schools. There was a Department of Education report in 2017 that Chris Rufo brought to light. This is what he tweeted. He said, in 2017, the Department of Education published a report warning that public school employees groom and then commit adult sexual misconduct against 10% of K-12 students. And the Department of Education defines grooming as the process of isolating and manipulating a child. In addition, in 2014, there was a report from the Government Accountability Office about grooming. This is what Rufo writes about it. He says, in 2014, the nonpartisan GAO published a 72-page report warning about child predators in public schools, recommending that administrators monitor teachers for grooming behaviors that could lead to sexual misconduct and sexual abuse. So it's happening. It's happening both on the individual level, where individual teachers are abusing individual children. It's happening at the political level, where teachers, a conglomeration of teachers, are indoctrinating children, grooming them for sexual abuse in order to achieve a political goal. This is happening. Education has been hijacked. It's been compromised, and it's been turned against, in this circular firing squad, it's been turned against another institution, that is the family. Children, of course, are a pivotal part of the family. Gender is a pivotal part of the family. Marriage is a pivotal part of the family. So education has been hijacked to turn its sights on destroying another cultural institution.